Welcome to the Overweighted Podcast, where we get real about the struggles of being obese and needing to lose a whole lot of weight. My name's Malaika. I'm your host, weight loss mentor and coach. Join me on my personal weight loss journey to lose about 200 pounds, and as I share my very real experiences, plus some simple, successful, and sustainable weight loss tips and mindset shifts so that we can mark lose weight off of our to-do list for good. What is going on? I hope you're having an amazing day. I wanted to pop on here to talk about focusing on what you can have instead of focusing on what you can't have. And for those of you that don't know me, my name's Malaika Burley. I am a weight loss mentor and transformational coach, and I'm on a personal weight loss journey as well. And I like to help women, mainly moms, but any women in general that have gained a lot of weight and lost themselves. I like to help them lose the weight and gain themselves back again. And I mainly do that through Transformation Tribe. That is my community where you can join us for free in the tribe and just get weight loss tips and mindset shifts and things like that in Transformation Tribe. So you can join us there for free. And I also do that through the Overweighted podcast, which is where you can listen anywhere that you listen to podcasts, and come check that out. I would love to hear from you. So let's talk about focusing on what you can't have versus focusing on what you can have. This is really important. This was something that kind of came up for me in my weight loss journeys before, because especially if you're doing the types of things where you're being like really restrictive, maybe you're cutting out certain things or you don't want to eat certain things on your weight loss journey. And what tends to happen is that we tend to start thinking about those things that we can't have. Just as an example, one of the things that I like to do right now is like during the first week of the month, I will cut out sweets for the first week of the month. And so I do that not because I'm trying to, restrict and not eat sweets, because I still eat them, but I'm doing that mainly, it's a biblical fast that I'm doing it. But what happens during that week is if I'm focusing on the fact that I'm not having sweets, then instead of me focusing on all the other things I can have, that's really like setting myself up for failure. I want to talk about why it's important to focus on what you can have instead of what you can't have. Also, like, for instance, if you say like you want to cut out junk food for a season, that might be something that you're doing just to kind of kickstart your health. And so we really want to get to a point that we're, like I said, focusing on what we can have. Let me get into it because I'm just repeating myself at this point. All right. When we focus on what we can't have, when we're focusing on, and this applies to anything really. So obviously I'm talking about weight loss and our weight loss journeys, but this actually applies to anything in life. So when you are focusing on what you can't have, what happens, and some of you are going to know this, is that it just makes you want it more. When you are focusing on that thing that you can't have, it makes you just want it more because you're like feeding it this energy. And so, what you feed grows. And so you're constantly thinking about this thing that you can't have. And so because you're constantly thinking about it, you're constantly feeding that thought, you're constantly feeding it energy, and you just want it even more, right? So when you focus on what you can't have, you are kind of setting yourself up to almost guarantee that you're going to keep doing it and that you're going to end up having that thing that you're trying to not have, right? It puts you in the wrong mental state when you are focusing on what you can't have. And what happens is, if you, like, say I'm trying to not have sweets, right? And if all I'm focusing on is the fact that I can't have sweets, well, as soon as I have a sweet, I'm going to start like down this shame spiral because now I've had this sweet and now I've messed up. Well, I might as well go all out and just totally have all the sweets I want to have. And that could even lead to possibly binging, which is what we don't want to do, right? And don't don't focus on the thing that you can't have. Focus on all the things that you can have. It's going to put you in a better, more positive mental space. And if you think about it, so instead of me thinking about the sweets I can't have, what I could do is make a list of all the foods I can have. Right. And so that's putting me in a more positive mind space, because it's like I can have all these things. And it's also helping me to realize all of the things or options that I have that could replace that thing that I can't have or that I don't want to have, right? Instead of focusing on what you can't have, and like I said, that's putting you in the wrong mental state. It's just going to make you want it more. Think about what you can have. Also, when you are thinking about what you can't have, it tends to make you more closed-minded, because you're only thinking about those things that you can't have. And you're really not able to think outside of the box, because you're only focused on that thing that you are trying not to have, or that thing that you can't have, instead of opening your mind up to the possibilities of all the things that you can, right? And also, when we are focusing on what we can't have, the reason that it kind of takes us down a spiral, and like I said, we're feeding it more energy and it's just making us concentrate on that more. Our brain really doesn't process the negative. All right. So let me give you an example. Because if, like I'm saying, I don't want to eat sweets, right? So my brain's not really going to process that I don't want to eat sweets. So let me give you an example. Don't think about a cat right now. Don't think about a cat. What's the first image that popped into your head? A cat, most likely, right? Most likely. Okay, most likely a cat just popped into your head when I said don't think about a cat. So your brain isn't processing the don't part of that. It has this image of a cat, and so a cat pops up. So if you are telling yourself, I don't want to have sweets, don't think about sweets, don't think about the cookies, what's going to happen? You're going to start thinking about those things more. And like I said, it's basically setting yourself up to almost guarantee that you're going to keep doing that thing or keep having that thing that you don't want to have. And our natural reaction is to kind of argue against that thing that we don't want to do, right? And so it's just like my neuroscience coach, she will tell us that I don't know all the things. So she will tell us something like our brains, like it is set to keep us like safe and comfortable. And so when you are trying to do something that's outside of what you would normally want to do, like not eating sweets, your brain's going to try to argue against that, because that's not comfortable for you to not have the sweets or not have whatever that thing is for you, right? So it's almost like setting yourself up, like I said, for failure, to almost guarantee that you're going to have that thing, because it's just like a natural reaction. So you don't want to focus on what you can't have. Focus on what you can. All right, let's see. So one of the things you can do, like I mentioned, with focusing on what you can have, is really sit down, make a list of all the things that you can have during this weight loss journey, and open your mind up to what else is available. Like there may be some other things, like some fruits maybe that you've never tried before, that would help to satisfy some of the cravings, like with my sweets example, for instance. You may think of like new innovative ways to think of things that you've already had before, right? So there may be like new recipes or new things that you can find, and new ways to prepare foods that you've already had. And so that will make it new for you again. So focus on what you can have. Let's see. I guess that was pretty much it. That was a really abrupt stop to that. Sorry, my brain. I'm hot out here, y'all. All right. So that's your homework. Make a list of the things that you can have freely. If you, instead of trying to focus on that thing that you can't have, like I said, which will almost guarantee that you will have it, that could lead you down a spiral to where you may even possibly binge. Make a list or think of all the things that you can have. That's going to open your mind up to possibilities. And it's just going to put you in a better, more positive mental state, especially along this weight loss journey, which for some of us is going to be a very lengthy journey. So you want to be in the best mental state possible so that you can succeed on this journey. All right. So I hope that was helpful. Ooh, that was really rambly today. Sorry about that. But anywho, I will see you guys later, and I hope you have an amazing day. All right, bye-bye. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. If you got any value out of this or something just really resonated with you, can you do me a favor and leave a review? It helps others find the show so that it could help them too. Also, I'd love to connect with you on other platforms. I'm Malaika Burley on IG and YouTube. And go grab my free webinar, The 5 Keys to Simple, Successful, and Sustainable Weight Loss at malaikaburley.com. And of course, all of those links are in the show notes. Thanks again and have a blessed day.